Okay, you might have to accept that on your screen for some of you. It depends. So I just so tonight is Frank's session. So this is Frank Hayes. He's creative director of the For Enjoyment art classes. So there's a few of you who know him already from that. So their class is held in and around Dumfries. He's also my colleague. He's the Art in Healthcare coordinator for Outpost Arts. But I'll hand over to Frank and he can introduce himself in a little bit properly. Better than that, I just want to say, if everyone can say a quick hi to Alison Keith, who's come tonight. Alison couldn't make it to the Saturday session, so you won't have met her, but Alison's going to join in when she can. She's got a few health issues which limit her capacity, but she'll be dipping in for you know, a few minutes hopefully, but then catch up during the week. So make her welcome in the Facebook group, and we're very glad to see you here, Alison. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Everybody give her a wave.
No.
Big wave. Thank you.
Center of attention.
Yes, good. And then I just want to introduce you to a few of our peer mentors. So the peer mentor title is given to those volunteers who were on last year's project and have come back to help out. So they've gone all the way through the Art Journal project, they've gone all the way through the graduate program, and they've come back to help out. So I've got next to me, I've got Susie. Susie's got a special job tonight because she's going to be managing the chat function. So for those of you who do not like doing Zoom very much or speaking out loud on Zoom, she'll be managing the chat. Kim's here, so Kim Bannister, she's from our original carers group. So we're very glad to have Kim here representing the carers. And then we've got Martha in the middle. Martha's from the adult group. She's a graphic designer by day and avid art journaler otherwise. And then we've got Phil. And so Phil's one of our Uber peer mentors because he took part in the pilot project and last year's project. So he's come back, and I think Phil wouldn't mind me saying that he's a real advocate for folks who might have a late autism diagnosis in adulthood. And he's also a pen and ink drawing nerd as well, like our Frank. So hi to you guys. Thanks for coming tonight. So quickly before we get started, I just if Zoom, if you're not comfortable with Zoom, I just thought I'd point out a couple of functions. So in the top right hand corner, there's the view drop down menu. If you don't like seeing your own face on the screen, if that sort of freaks you out a little bit, just put hide self view, and then you're just talking to the people in front of you. And then you can just have a scroll through there, and there's different options. Like I said, use the chat function if you're not comfortable with speaking out loud. Susie will keep an eye on that for us. You can message people privately, or you can message the whole group. That's absolutely fine. No pressure. There's also down the bottom here, there's like a reactions tab, and if you click on that, that will give you the option of like raising your hand or sending an emoji. You can do a heart, you can do a thumbs up, that sort of thing. So if there's anything you want to react to but you don't, yeah, thank you Philip for illustrating that for us. And then just keep it. I can see most of you just like popped mute on, which is quite cool. So if you have to pop away for any reason, if the Amazon delivery arrives or the kids are playing up or a dog is barking or whatever, just pop in and out as you have to. Just pop your camera off and press mute and come and go. There's no pressure to just take breaks if you need to. All of that is absolutely cool. Like I said, I'm recording the Zoom, and anybody who missed the Saturday session in the afternoon with me, I'm going to recap everything that we did activities wise. So the doodle instructions for eyes closed, eyes open, and the little mindful flower drawing instructions. So I will write those up and stick them in the Facebook group for you. There's no pressure. Yeah, there's no pressure at all to do everything. You've got a whole week between now and next session on Monday to have a little dabble and a little go. And like I said in that session, you know, some things you might resist. I don't feel like you fancy doing them. It's fine, but just give everything a little go if you can. So I think on that note, without further ado, if everybody's got everything they need, if you need a cup of tea, or you've got your stuff, or you've got a glass of water, or anything like that, anybody need anything, need to pop away for a moment, that's fine. I was just wondering, have we got any pets joining us tonight by any chance? Anybody, any cats, dogs, anybody
Not
deciding
tonight.
to... Yeah. I've got two very sleepy dogs over there, but yeah, pets, cats, dogs, children are welcome to join in if they want to, it's fine. Anyway, I shall hand over to the lovely Frank right now, and for Frank to introduce himself and what we're going to be doing tonight. And I'll mute myself.
Thanks, Liz. Really lovely to see everybody tonight, and really nice to meet everybody that I've not met before. Really good to see you and see you along tonight. Lots of people on here know me as well, so that's nice. We've got some people that have got some experience of coming to for enjoyment workshops. So I'll just talk a little bit about what I do before we get going. I am the creative director of For Enjoyment, which is a community interest company, a social enterprise, and we do workshops, events, exhibitions. We do one-to-one work, mentoring, all sorts of different things, mainly based in Dumfries and Galloway, but we do projects in other parts of Scotland. And we have a wee outpost up in Elgin at the Moray Wellbeing Hub up there, where we sometimes do some work with them. So for enjoyment, we do open accessible workshops for all ages and abilities. We have a regular weekly drawing workshop on a Thursday evening. We're currently doing that at Dumfries College. We do monthly painting and printing workshops as well, printing at Gracefield, painting at Out Aisle Steps, and a multitude of other things. So it's something that Lucy and Liz and myself have spoken about, which is a really good extra thing if anybody's wanting to develop any extra skills or take what's happening at the moment in the art journal project. You can drop in and out of the For Enjoyment live workshops. We don't really do them online at the moment. They are all face-to-face. So that is a wee option. And we do have people here that are regulars, very regular regulars. So that's a little bit about For Enjoyment. I am also the Art in Healthcare Coordinator for the NHS. Okay, Alison, see you soon.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
So I'm the
trying.
Art in Healthcare Coordinator for the NHS, working with Outpost Arts. That's the DG Creative Wellbeing organisation. So my job is to facilitate workshops, recruit artists to do things in hospital environments, clinical environments, commission exhibitions to go up. We've currently got Access Art. Stephen Burney has got an exhibition up at DGRI. So if you're ever around that area, that's worth checking out. That's just at the end of the outpatients department. So so the art in healthcare role is quite involved. We do workshops. We're doing workshops at the moment at Mid Park Hospital. We're on to our fourth block of workshops there. Last block of workshops was led by Kirsty Turpey. I also am the interim chair at the moment of DGU. I don't know if anybody knows what DGU is. That's the Chamber of the Arts for Dumfries and Galloway. So that's an advocate really for everything creative and cultural that goes on in the region. So I'm the interim chair there. And I also sit on quite a lot of groups and steering groups that I won't bore you with. One of them is the Cultural Partnership, which is going to be coming along soon, which everybody will start to learn about. Yes. And in my spare time, I do my own creative practice. And I've just had an exhibition this weekend as part of the Artists of Shambley House. So I've just had some work up there this weekend. So my whole life is based around creativity and culture, really, and I feel very fortunate. It's a lot of work. It's quite intense, long hours, but it doesn't put me off art. I still use art as my go-to therapy. That's my way of unwinding and chilling out and really switching off and escaping from all the stresses and strains of daily life. So yeah, that's me in 5 minutes. That's all the good stuff anyway. Yeah. So basically, the exercise that we're going to do tonight, I'm going to say this, and I'll probably say it about 20 times. It's not about drawing. I'll leave a little bit of silence after that, because it's not about drawing. What we're going to do tonight is a really brilliant exercise, especially if you've not been creative before, and I've used it hundreds of times. It's continuous line drawing. So it's a really good brain training exercise. It's a really good observational exercise. And also it's a really nice way of making marks on paper and deliberately making mistakes, because whatever you do is not going to look like what it is that you're trying to draw. So I'll probably be able to explain it better after you've watched the tutorial. And we can play the tutorial a couple of times. You don't have to take all the information in the first time, and it'll be available to view, will it, Liz, afterwards as well? But I'll say it again for the second time. It's not about drawing. It's a brain training exercise, and it's to keep, it's a really good exercise for observation, which for me is the key to drawing and being creative, because you need to be able to see properly what it is that you're trying to get down on paper. The temptation is when you attempt to do a still life for the first time, or anything, a portrait, is to look at the subject briefly and then spend 20 minutes working away on the paper. And then you look back at the subject 20 minutes later and it looks nothing like what you've put down on the paper. So I would say when I'm drawing anything, I would spend probably about 75 to 80% of the time looking at it, and then about 20% of the time trying to get it down on paper. So that's what continuous line is really good for. So if we're all right to watch the tutorial, Liz, I can talk more about it afterwards. You're still on mute, Liz.
Sorry, folks, I'm going to be doing that all night. I'll drive you nuts. Right, I'm just about to share my screen, so bear with me a second. One. Here we go. Can everybody hear okay?
Can hear you.
Can you hear the...
Well, welcome to tutorial video number 1, and I'm just showing you a little bit of the landscape before we start. And what I'm going to be working from, I'm sat underneath an absolutely amazing oak tree here at the moment. So continuous line drawing, great way to get marks down on the paper, and not really any time to kind of second guess what you're doing, because you have to. It's breaking up a wee bit, Liz. I'm not getting any sound at all, Liz.
Nope, I can't hear anything there either. Can you hear us, Liz?
secondary, really.
Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
A great observational exercise. Is the whole key to drawing really is basically about observing.
That's it now.
Also a really great way to switch off. It's a real mindful technique. Basically, as soon as you start, you really should be into a bit of a flow where your brain's kind of concentrating more on the drawing than it is, you know, on maybe problems and issues that you've been having during the day. You can use anything for this: a biro, felt tip pen, a Sharpie, even a dark coloured crayon. So I am going to start looking at an oak tree in the distance there. And the thing with continuous line drawing is you don't take the pen off the paper. And I'm actually not really looking at the drawing much at the moment. I'm just kind of looking off into the distance. And what is good to kind of get your head around is that you do have to go back over lines. You will have to keep going backwards and forwards. And I'm concentrating too much and not talking enough now. Really, what should be happening when you're doing this is that your eyes should be tracing round certain parts. Let me whiz round here. So as you're looking down the trunk of that tree, that line should be coming out about the same speed. So you shouldn't really be firing stuff on at high speed, because the quicker you put the lines on the paper, that basically means that you're looking less. So you really want to be going at a nice, gentle speed. And also, when I was kind of taught this exercise quite a few years ago, I was also taught to concentrate on my breathing as well. Yeah, it should feel like a nice, gentle kind of, almost like a mindful exercise, really. Joining in. It's going to feel a little scary at the beginning. So don't kind of worry about having a perfect drawing. You can take the pen off when you're having a break, by the way. But the essence of the drawing, you should be going all the way around with one line. Yeah, it will feel a little bit scary. We're not doing an accurate drawing. It's just an exercise. And just really focus on the speed of that line. What's typical to do with drawing, and I probably will repeat this quite a few times in the tutorials, is you draw what you know and not what you see. And that's something that everybody does. I do it. You kind of slip into a drawing and kind of get a bit carried away, and then you look back at what it is that you were supposed to be representing or copying, and it doesn't look at all like it. And that's because you've started to access kind of your memory banks. So yeah, it's a simple way to observe. And absolutely don't overanalyze what it is that you're doing. You know, it's just a drawing exercise. It's not something that's got to go in a frame. In a gallery. So, trees, plants, clouds. I mean, something like a leaf is great for really focusing the speed that your eye goes around that shape. So the outcomes really, lots of continuous line drawings, big, small, overlap them. You know, you can always, if you like something that you've done, you can always grab a pen and add a little bit of colour, you know, just to kind of emphasise what you've done and parts that you like. It's a great little exercise. And any questions on it, just give me a shout.
Hang on.
We got CBeebies on at the same time, Liz.
No, it's Oh.
Okay.
Really sorry, it's crashed for some reason. My thing. Bear with me a second.
Don't worry, don't worry. It's a shame that that video was edited a wee bit, and so you didn't actually see the view, which was a shame. I think there is a longer version, so I wonder if I could speak to Liz and Lucy if they could share the longer version that I recorded, because you get a sense of what it was that I was drawing. But basically, the essence is that you can use this exercise anywhere, really. And a prime example of that is if you've got literally nothing to look at, you can do your hand. So that is a continuous, so there's no excuses, basically. There's no excuses. As long as you've got a pen and a piece of, you don't even have to have a piece of paper. You can draw the inside of a cereal packet. You can do it with an old pen or a pencil or a crayon. But I mean, I have drawn my hand a lot of times practicing. So I would say tonight, if we're going to have a wee go at it, and also what I was saying to Liz is, we don't have to do this all within this session. I think this is an exercise that you could carry right through the art journal project with you. Whenever you're starting a new project or a new, you know, if Phil's going to do a new portrait or something like that, I know for certain if I'm starting a new composition, I'll always try a wee bit of a continuous line, and it starts to fix that composition in your head. So I think this exercise, we can have a go at it during the tutorial, during the workshop, but certainly this is something that you should keep in mind and you should keep practicing and going back to. There's a couple of reasons for that. There's a few reasons for that, actually. One of them is it's good brain training. It's really good for observation, but also there's a wee bit of neurological stuff that goes on when you do continuous line. And without kind of going into it too deeply, when you are drawing, whenever anybody's drawing, but especially when you're quite nervous, if you're first starting out, every time you take the pen off the paper, your brain is making a lot of calculations, and they tend, when you're first starting out, to be a lot of negative calculations. Why does it not look right? Why does it not look like the thing I'm trying to draw? What's somebody else going to think of it? I need to rub it out. So all these tiny little things go on every time you lift the pencil off the paper. You find an excuse to go and pick something up, or you go make a cup of tea. The beauty of continuous line is you have to keep going, and it doesn't allow your brain the time to let that negativity in. You just have to keep going. And if you accept the fact as well that, like the oak trees that I just represented, I'm not going to say drew, I represented them on the paper, you know from the outset that what you are doing isn't going to look like what you're trying to draw. That's really important. So it is not a drawing exercise. It's using the oak trees or using your hand as an image for you to train your brain with the pencil. And you can, if we do it now, and what's nice to do it as well is you can do it while you're chatting. Hopefully we'll be doing a bit of chatting while we're drawing. You can literally draw anything that's in front of you. So I think if everybody's got tools to hand, paper to hand, I think we should just get something in front of us, or if it's a bookshelf across the way, or a little view out of the window, or an ornament on the desk that you're sitting at, the keys on your keyboard. It could be anything, really.
Mm.
I've talked a lot, so I'm guessing there's going to be quite a few questions. I'm hoping there's going to be questions.
Crickets. What's the best thing to use
Sharpie.
for Sharpie?
Sharpie or a thick fine liner.
Okay. So in your boxes, we've got these dual-ended ones. So there's like a sort of standard fatter nib, and then there's a little, oh, it's a bit of a menace to get the bottom cap off, actually. If you give it a, you can get this finer nib on the bottom. So that one, the thinner one, yeah?
That could do it.
That could do it. Okay.
Yeah.
But you prefer to use a pen, don't you, for doing this?
Yes, it doesn't
rather
work
than
with pencil. It
yeah.
doesn't work with pencil.
Okay. Okay.
Because you shouldn't really have to worry too much about the pressure that you're putting on anyway. The lines should just drift out of the pen.
Yeah.
And what we're saying in the video that was a little bit jumpy is when you're doing continuous line, if you are maybe drawing your hand, the line should be coming out about the same speed that your eye is tracing around your finger. So instead of trying to scribble it down as quickly as you can, you know, really look at how your finger bends and how your fingernail starts and how you come around the other side. That's kind of the speed that the pen should be letting the line appear on the paper. And please don't try to draw anything perfect. That's not the point of the exercise.
Okay. So we can choose any subject that's to hand. So it could be something within the room or something without the window, you know, out of the window, for example, if we've got that. Just by chance, I happen to have some flowers, but but it could be anything. So do we all want to give it a bash then? Are we ready to go? Yay, we've got a thumbs up from Jenny there.
Yep, ready.
Thumbs up all around. Grand, thanks.
Hopefully we can have a wee chat
Katrina.
while we're doing it as well.
Yeah, if you, oh, and some thumbs ups down there. We got some emoji thumbs up. Look at that. Great. Feel free to unmute yourselves, and if any little thoughts are coming to mind about what you're doing, just little observations, feel free to let us know. Because everybody learns from everybody's observations, for sure.
Also, I'm thinking about Jill, and if anybody else has got any sort of, I'm partially sighted as well. I've kind of got 30% in one eye and 70% in the other. Is if don't focus on detail. You know, you can trace the outline of the door frame, or it doesn't matter what you're doing. You know, or if you have to have your hand right in front of your face. It's just the practice. It's just the practice, and let you know if you're using nice paper and a nice pen. Enjoy the lines going onto the paper as well. The feel of the paper on the back of your hand.
I really enjoy this exercise. It was Frank that introduced me to this exercise. I use it in my own work all the time. If I've had a break from making because life has got in the way, work's got in the way, what have you, and I'm coming back in and I'm trying to find a way back into working in a sketchbook, then this is the first little activity I will do, because it just gets that connection going again. And it's not about the outcome, it's just making sure that you are really looking at the things that interest you. It's an exercise in looking, isn't it, and observing and familiarizing and having that hand-eye, you know. So going back to what we did on Saturday about having that connection, taking that pause, it's that moment to sort of catch up with yourself. So let's give it a few minutes to have a try, shall we?
Yeah, it's nice to do it outside in the landscape as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's my, you know, favorite thing, like when out for a walk with, because when I go walking with the dogs, I can't really take a huge amount of stuff with me. So I take one of these miniature sketchbooks that I can fit into my pocket. They're only tiny, they're like this sort of size, and the continuous line stuff is really useful. So like I was walking past and saw a big bull in the field, and I just stood there and quickly drew the ball. Yeah, it's a really handy technique.
Has anybody done it before? At the workshops, maybe?
Obviously, last
did
year. Is that what you were
Sorry?
going to say, Kim? Sorry.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan last year, but I'm liking it this year.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it last year. I hadn't done it before we did it with you, Frank, actually last year. Yeah, I think it's really nice. It stops you overanalyzing.
Mhm.
Stops me overanalyzing. But yeah, there's always that slight intimidation of where to start.
Mhm.
Because you end up, or I end up wandering off the page, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Can somebody tell me if I'm muted?
Nope, you're loud and clear.
I can't see, I can't read the little gizmos down the bottom, so
You're
that's why.
fine, Jill, just don't swear.
Oh.
You're alive.
Yeah, no language.
You're on live TV.
It's being
And recorded.
recorded and it will
Yeah.
be broadcast.
So how long, I mean, I'm thinking to move away from where I'm sitting so I can see out my window.
Time
Yeah.
is it anyway? We'll do it. Let's do it for just because there's a development of this that we can do. So let's just try it for 10 minutes.
Right, fine.
Do you need me? I'll set a quick timer just to keep us on track. So we'll call you back, Jill, when 10 minutes is up.
When does Spring Fling start, Liz?
It is the 25th to the 27th of May, so it's the May bank holiday.
Gosh, that's come round quick
weekend.
from last year, hasn't it?
Yeah, hasn't it just? It always does. You sign up to it thinking, oh great, I've got
Got a whole year.
yeah, and then all of a sudden you're looking in your studio and you haven't got any work.
I'm thinking of doing it next year.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, Frank. Seriously. I think off the back of your
It's only because Amy told me I should.
Amy Marletta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, her and her dad came to see the exhibition.
Lovely.
And that's the first thing she said, so I thought, right, I better do it then.
Yeah, it's ideal for Spring Fling. Anybody else go to the Open Studios event in their area and have a little look at it's a lovely event. No, Jenny, you've been up to my studio, Jenny, haven't you?
Yes, and I really liked your stuff.
Thank you. I wasn't fishing for compliments, I promise.
Honest.
Honest.
The first time I've been to quite a lot of the studios, but it's the first time I've been to that area.
Yeah, out in the wild of
Yeah, but there's a lot of good stuff.
It's quite a diverse bunch up here.
Yeah, and Langham as well. I was in.
Yeah.
Good.
Shelley, who's here tonight, she works with a jeweler down in Langham called Lisa Rothwell Young.
Oh yes, I know that name.
Yeah, so Lisa's my neighbour actually up in Estelmuir. She's just 2 doors down from me.
All right.
Yeah, so we've got quite a lot of artists up here. People sort of hiding out on the moors and stuff like that.
And I don't know whether she's here tonight, but I met one of your, I don't know if she was a neighbour, but somebody that lived in the valley. Who was an artist from London.
Oh, Karen, yeah, big Karen. So she, so she's taking part, but I think she was going down. I think she was going down south, so she'll be catching up with this on in the Facebook group.
Okay.
I think she took her drawing kit on the train this afternoon.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I mean, this is a good exercise for on the train as well. It takes away an element of control. This is what we're trying to do to you, is to sort of stop you from worrying about what things look like and sort of giving over to just sometimes happy little accidents, like Bob Ross says.
Mhm.
But it's more just to focus on the looking. And it's great when on a train, when you've only got like momentary glimpses of the landscape, or you know, the overhead wires, or the stations and things like this. This is really nice. And then the rhythm of being moved side to side, so you have that movement in your drawings as well. It's really nice.
Sometimes like sit outside Tesco and draw people walking in and out.
You did some great drawings of when you were waiting for the kids at the playground.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
those ones.
Get stuck sitting in the car, or like, yeah, sitting in the park, or
Yeah.
I don't love the park, but it's good place to sit and watch people.
I'd like
Yeah,
to see
So,
those, Martha, if you don't mind sharing them.
what's that, sorry?
Would you mind sharing those in the group, the people observations you've done?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
it's just really cool. It's just to get a sense of like, you know, you just get down a few lines or something, don't you? You can't do detail. It's just not possible. You just want to
No.
get over that kind of sense of something, you know.
It's a really good exercise for lowering your heart rate as well, because you committed once you decide you're going to go do it for 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
You just keep hyper focused on the exercise. And I did a workshop at Chambly House. It was a day workshop, and we did loads of different ways of observing the flora in the grounds. So
That's a nice one.
So we went out and got twigs, and we drew with them with ink. We did frottage. We did
what was that one?
frottage is rubbing, where you rub, you get a leaf and rub over the top of it with graphite through the paper.
Oh, that's a very fancy name for it.
It's French. Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of that. Cool.
Yeah. And we did continuous line. I'm trying to think what else we did. We did continuous line. We did blind contour. My dad has a habit of phoning whenever I'm in a meeting, whenever I'm doing an online workshop, or whenever I'm having my tea.
And is he
Never
just about to ring
any other
now?
time. Never any other time does he phone me. I don't know how he does it.
You're just telepathically connected. That's what it is.
So Tom Hughes from the museum, he was along that day at that workshop, and
Dumfries Museum.
Yeah. And he picked a branch and had a knot in it.
Oh.
And I said, continuous line. We'll do a continuous line exercise. So he started on this side of this branch and decided that was what he was going to do for the whole last hour and a half of the afternoon. And he never took his pen off the paper. He could just about hold his arm up at the end. But his drawing was incredible. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, because
so
I mean,
you can take it to a real extreme level, or you can just literally do it for 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's the thing, because you can start going over and over and over a line, can't you, to get the texture, to start thinking about contrasts and things.
So the thing to do now we've been doing it for a wee while, is there's another exercise that we have done lots of times, or have done lots of times at different workshops. It's called Walk the Line. And this is a really good one if you are out, maybe you could be at Maybe Forest, or you could be out in your garden. And Walk the Line is you will work on a bigger piece of paper, exactly the same principle, and you'll do one small drawing in one part of the picture, one part of the paper, and then you just let the line drift across, and you walk somewhere else and sit down and look at something else, and then you start to draw that as well. So you can do that for half an hour. You could walk around your garden, you could walk around your front room.
So it's almost like mapping almost, is it?
Yeah.
No.
But the idea is it's all linked, all the different objects and things. We've done it at the museum a few times, which works really, really well because there's so many different types of objects there. And it's called Walk the Line. So you basically end up, hopefully, I mean, ideally on like an A3 piece of paper, you end up with a really beautiful page full of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 observations. And it works even better if some of them are drawn over the top of each other, or they're slightly over the top of each other. And you almost end up like with a big project sheet.
Cool.
I mean, obviously you're gonna have to take your pen off if you're walking upstairs or walking downstairs. But the essence is that all of those images on that piece of paper are all one line. That's a really, really nice exercise to do. We've done it, I would say, double figures. The 4 enjoyment workshops have been going now since 2016. I think the actual Thursday night drawing for enjoyment, I think we're up to about 240 of those that we've done in that time. And we've done this exercise easily double figures. We did it at the usual place once when in the summer when all the flowers were out. So everybody ended up with some of the objects that were in the usual place and then lots of the flowers that were in flower outside, parts of the usual place, parts of the architecture, and somebody even did insects while they were buzzing about the flowers. It's a really nice way of filling a page up. You're not planning on a composition. You don't know where it's going to go. You don't know. And that's the beauty of it because you're not planning it. So you're not going to be disappointed at the end thinking it was going to look like a certain thing. It just kind of appears on the paper. So, you know, it can literally just be around your front room. You could do it around the kitchen. Or if you want to be adventurous, you could do it out in the landscape. You could do it in a library. I would highly recommend while you're doing the art journal project to pay a visit to a museum and try it in there because it's amazing fun.
I think what we'll do then is if I write that up as a possibility of something for people to try, and I'll you know find a little illustration or something to make that, you know. I'll pop that into the group as a possibility. So that's our 10 minutes for that little exercise up. Is anyone feeling brave enough to hold up what they were working on up to the camera so for the rest of us to see? This is a brave step, folks. This is what we like doing. Brilliant. Great. Right. Should we start with you, Jill? So this is the view from your living room, is it?
My dining room, yeah.
From your dining room.
Yeah.
Everyone know it. There's a really derelict garage just before you get to the lights above house.
I know that very well.
Derelict garage.
Brilliant.
And
that's great, Jill.
Super. I love seeing the rooftops. That's always takes a bit of looking to get the angles on your rooftops.
Heather's hovering. Heather's half hovering. Here we go. Oh wow!
Is that the view from your window? It's not lovely.
That's the view. When Frank said you could have a view out the window, I thought I would treat you all to the view of the Galloway Hills that I can see. However, it's quite misty, so there's no Galloway Hills.
But there's a suggestion of the Galloway Hills.
There's some trees, and after I finished that one, I did what was on my desk.
Yay!
Heather's on fire.
I love it.
That's my phone.
Yeah.
That's a jug. That's my jug. I'll show you my jug. That's my jug.
That's
brilliant.
So
I really love those pencils in that jar.
That's my Yeti mug, and that was supposed to be
pen pot. Oh, well done.
I love it.
And at the bottom, my pencil. I love it.
Very well done.
Crazy.
Anybody else? Oh, that's
Oh,
lovely.
Jenny.
Jenny.
Oh, and Kim's hand up there. No.
Is that a continuous line, Kim? Have you been cheating?
No.
We need to have a closer look.
Oh, Trina, you've done one too. Brilliant.
Wow.
Oh, that's
amazing.
fabulous. Well done.
Wow.
Really taken your
Wow.
time with that.
I've never done a hand before.
Wow.
It's amazing, Kim.
How have you
That's
added the
impressive.
shading? Have you just done very close
Over and
line?
over, close together, isn't
Yeah,
it?
cool. That's
It's
really
really
cool.
good. What
My
sort of
hand's a bit more
plant
class.
is yours, Jenny?
I think it's well. This was a flower I picked to do the flower exercise, and never got round to doing it. I think it's a lady's smock,
Oh, right.
a wildflower.
They're growing at the end of your little lane, aren't they, on the verge?
Is that
That's
like,
where, that's
they
where I
also
went
call,
to get them.
are
Yeah.
they cuckoo flower as well, do they call
Yeah.
it? It's like the
Yeah,
butterflies like them, don't they? The red tip, the
Orange
orange
tips.
tip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anybody
Yeah.
else feeling brave? Trina, let's show us yours again. Let's see what you've got. Another hand.
good
Look,
hand.
Frank.
Oh,
That
Oh,
is
I
a
love
really
the
good hand.
segments. That's great. They're sort of they're not called segments. What's it
Good old fingers, Liz.
What a
Oh,
twerp,
cool.
sorry.
Great.
I love the Fanta. Well done.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Nicholas.
Oh, you've got a blurry background. It's not letting it
You're a bit
focus,
fuzzy,
Nicola.
Nicola.
Oh, do I have to unblur the background?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, that's
if you
it.
hold it into your face
Oh,
sometimes.
look at that.
Wow.
I love the
Cool.
watch strap.
That-
That's a
so
great
much
detail.
I think I ended up with like slightly deformation round about here.
No,
I think I have to
remember what I
point out.
said?
It's all right. It's
It's
not
not a
meant to
drawing.
look. Yeah.
It's not a drawing. I think that's a big hurdle to get over
I
as
went
well.
off my page as well. Yeah,
Oh,
off the edge
Martha,
of the page again.
Martha's just showing off.
No,
Well
just off
done,
the edge of the
Martha.
page. There we go.
I love that. It's got a giant finger as well. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a much bigger bit
Oh.
of paper.
Oh,
Sally.
Just on the theme of hands. So,
let's see.
no.
Oh,
Leave
it's
it
not.
blurred.
It's doing.
Oh, here we go. Just saw it there.
Yeah,
Just
that's it.
there.
Yay.
That's it. That's it.
Wow.
Wow, Sally.
Is that
That's quick.
Amazing. That's
can't see it.
so. Yeah.
That is
That's a
really
lot.
fast. How
I've
did
done
you
a
get on, Lorraine?
Yay.
You could just do a little peek at the bottom.
Show us a corner.
I don't think I'm quite in the same class.
There's no honestly, it's there's
Well,
no
I
right and wrong with
Oh.
continuous line, is there, Frank? There's no right and wrong at
Oh,
all.
there's loads of detail in
a
there.
little flower on my desk.
Oh,
but I
Lovely.
lovely. You've got really dark darks in there. You must
Yeah.
have gone over and over.
Bizarrely,
Oh, wow.
Oh, who's that? It's your
Cute.
moo.
Oh,
Well done.
that's brilliant.
that's my happiness cow.
Oh, we all need one of those for sure.
Yes, my daughter bought me a happiness cow to make me laugh. So there you are. It's sitting on my
Wow.
desk.
Oh, that's
Oh, we've got a
lovely.
visitor. We've got an
Who've we
extra
got?
visitor.
Oh, Pusscat. Oh, I love it when the pets come. What's your cat called, Trina?
This is my mum's cat. This one of them. This is Reacher.
Reacher. Where does that name come from?
Lee Charles books.
Ah, right. Cool dude.
Is it made into a detective series? Is that the right one?
That
The window.
creature, is it?
Yeah, on
Yeah.
Amazon,
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hungry.
Oh, he's a devil, honestly.
He's great. Oh,
Oh, he'll
Cool.
be here now till the end, I expect.
Yeah, love it. Love it. I think that we always get the pets visiting at various points, which is rather nice.
What size paper does everybody have, Liz? What size?
So
paper
we've
did you
got
find out?
the sketchbooks, but then
Yeah.
in the box, I was going to say, if you go right underneath all the bits and bobs, there's a few pieces of A3 cartridge paper. So it should be able to take the Sharpies, I would say. It's the same sort of thickness as the sketchbook paper. So that you know, sort of mapping your space idea of walking around or going around the garden or around your living room or do it at work, that would be quite good. But yeah, so that we could definitely give that a bash if you like.
Yeah, I think while we're just chatting for the last half an hour, I can maybe try and get 3 or 4 objects onto a piece of paper. But if you just want to work in your sketchbook, let the line go over the edge of the page onto the next page over. So as long as there's a line connecting everything together, that works as well. And it's good if you're chatting while you're doing it as well, because you're making marks. You're not focusing too strongly on what it is that you're doing. It's a real, hopefully everybody's kind of realized that it's, I mean, if you were to sit and say, right, we're all going to draw our hands now, it's pretty terrifying, you know. And like, you know, Kim's just demonstrated there, it's, you can get something down quite quickly that looks good. You know, that's not the intention for it to look good, but you can get something down on the paper quite quickly. So yeah, just make some more lines while we're chatting through the last half an hour of the workshop. I'm not sure if you want to show that sketchbook tour, Liz.
Yes, right.
For a bit of what would you call it? The intermission.
Yeah. It's like Pearl and Dean at the cinema. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all drawings, so I'm going to be cringing, but no, it's important.
No, you're not. It's all, yeah, it's all. I'm sorry about what happened earlier on. I don't know what that was, like the computer kind of just crashed sort of thing. So give me a mo to just sort of.
That's Kim heading off. Bye, Kim.
Thanks, Kim.
Hi,
Great to see
Kim.
you. So Kim will be around in the Facebook group a wee bit from time to time. So thanks for coming, Kim. Right.